Hey, Libra, Mel, intuitive coach here, excited to bring in your September 2025 monthly reading. All right, Libra, let's open up your energy field and take a look at what September has in store for you. Bottom of the deck, we have mending. Things are starting to come together here for you, Libra. You have done a lot of work on yourself, and I feel like there are new beginnings showing up after some very challenging or difficult endings is what I'm picking up on here. But you are coming into your own. It feels like something that has consumed your time and your energy, some sort of transformational process that you have gone through. I mean, we don't get to the mending card without going through some sort of struggle or challenge. And this could be financially, it could be emotionally, perhaps regarding your own health. And I feel like you have been doing a lot of repair work, meaning if there are patterns, which there most likely are, patterns that keep us held in contempt or held back in some way, you're breaking out of those limitations by choosing to consciously interrupt those patterns. And that's what I see here is something within you was wanting to grow and expand. And sometimes that comes with resistance. I don't know about you guys, but when I am struggling, I know that there's a part of me that is ready to evolve. There's the higher consciousness that wants to evolve because change is the one thing that is inevitable. Change is the thing that is always constant in our lives. And the other part of us, the ego part of us, wants to keep things in a state of comfort or keep things stable by hanging on to what we know. And I have a feeling that's what this mending has to do with for you, Libra, is something is coming together here that you have finally let go of that resistance and you are embracing the opportunity that change is bringing. And sometimes we're not even consciously aware that we are struggling to hang on to something that must die, that must end, just like the seasonal changes. We are rolling into the autumn equinox here in the northern hemisphere, and the leaves are all going to fall off of the trees, right? It's part of the process of rebirth, regeneration, and letting what must come to an end in order for the hibernation period of winter, moving into the reawakening of spring. And just like our world around us, our bodies also go through these cycles. And I see that you've gone through a period of your life where you're now shedding. You're shedding an old skin. So let's dive into your key themes here. You have letting go as one of your big themes for the month as we move into your season, Libra season, towards the end of September. So for those of you sun sign Libras out there, happy birthday. But of course, this reading is good for any placement of Libra in your chart, sun, moon, rising, Venus, or again, any placement that calls out or resonates to you, or perhaps you are here watching for a loved one. Now, this is about liberating yourself. It's about goodbyes, growth, ascension. This is about you learning very valuable life lessons and taking those life lessons and applying them constructively to your world. Because most of the time, we are making choices, subconsciously making choices that are rooted in our past. Meaning, the stories that you are telling yourself, the behaviors, the patterns, the habits are based on some experience that you've had in the past. And some of those experiences are incredible. And these are good patterns that we are going to take with us because they have us feeling good. And other patterns, other stories are based on defense mechanisms or old versions of ourselves that we had to put up some sort of a persona, some sort of a mask in order to get through that time of our lives. And I see here that you are stripping the layers back and you are coming into contact with your true essence. That's what this mending card tells me, is you're remembering who you are, Libra. You are remembering that your soul made a contract that you are fulfilling in every area of your life, and the things that are meant to not be in your life, I feel like they are kind of falling away. And sometimes our first initial response is to grab onto those things and to keep them, because there's a false sense of stability at times. But what I see happening here, and I've been talking about this in all of the monthly readings, if you've checked out any of the other ones, you're going to see a common thread here. Because the message that's coming through is creating an internal security system, meaning you are finding ways to create peace within, even if your outer world seems chaotic. You are tapping into tools. This could be breath work. You're concentrating and paying attention to your breath. Another one that's come up often is dropping into our 5 senses. And this is significant, especially as we are fully immersed here in Virgo season. So if you can, right here, right now, many of us are multitaskers. Perhaps you are listening to this video while you're doing the dishes or while you're out on your walk. Perhaps you're driving on your way to run an errand or on your way to work. I want you, if you can safely do so, to look in your environment. Use your sense of vision. And I want you to look around you. What do you notice, Libra? What do you see in front of you? And then I want you to take it to your sense of hearing. What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you taste? And what do you feel? What can you touch? What are your feet touching? Are you wrapped up in a cozy sweater? Do you feel the hardness of the chair, or are you in a bed where you feel the comfort of the mattress below you? Really drop into your senses, because that is going to help you get out of that mind energy, because oftentimes as an air sign, we can get caught up in the mind, and Virgo season is about bringing us back into our bodies. It's allowing us to pay attention to the intuitive messages that our body is bringing to us. So many of you, this is a healing path that you have been on within the body, and you may be letting go of some symptoms that have constricted you or that have held you back. And another message that has been showing up repeatedly, which I'm going to share with you, is intuition versus fear. The question is, what's the difference? How do I know if it's my intuition speaking to me, or how do I know if it's my fear? And the way I like to describe it is, our intuition is expansive. Intuition is going to help you feel like you have more options, a brighter future ahead, where fear is more limiting. Fear is restrictive. Fear kind of sinks into your energy field in a way that kind of allows you or has you shrinking versus expanding. And sometimes intuition can be very subtle. It can be very soft, but it's going to allow you to open up to possibility, where fear can be very directed towards something or someone, and it can be very loud. So for those of you that have been contemplating, is this my fear? Is this my intuition? Those are a couple ways to decipher. So letting go here of limitations, letting go of old patterns, of old cycles, old stories, old lies, perhaps old personas that you have draped over you to protect you at some point or another. Some of you could be saying goodbye to an old job, perhaps an old home, or an old living situation that you have outgrown. You may even be saying goodbye to a child. Maybe your children are going back to school. September can be a back to school month if you have school-age children. Some of you may even have college-age children here. But I feel like there's a lot of growth and a lot of flow. So to me, this is expansive. It tells me that you are listening to your own intuitive awareness, Libra. And by doing so, this brings things together. The amending card also tells me that you've been doing a lot of forgiveness work, maybe even practicing the Ho'oponopono prayer. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. This can be about psychic surgery. Some of you, of course, may have had physical surgery of some sort, and you may be feeling like you are recovering, like you have completed a big part of your healing journey. And for others of you, this is about repairing during your sleep state. It is DNA upgrades, cellular upgrades here through making conscious choices to be healthier, to choose healthier, friends, to put yourself in healthier circumstances, to eat healthier foods. It feels like Virgo's energy is also giving you a little bit of room to get to a point where you're being more disciplined or more structured when it comes to taking care of you, prioritizing your own self-care. Now, your second key theme is gifts. Well, this lines up with Libra season, and I see here that it's not just material gifts, Libra, although you may be getting a few. This has to do with you seeing the universe, seeing the world around you as a gift, waking up in the morning and being grateful for having another day, by enjoying in the company that you keep, a love for what you do, how you create a living, and by adding more pleasure, more joy into your life, and by taking action and staying disciplined when it comes to making that conscious choice over and over to do so, to make sure that you are creating a sense of harmony in your life. And that is something we as Libras, I'm also a Libra sun, we are constantly doing here, is finding harmony and balance. It doesn't mean we're always in a state of harmony and balance, but we're constantly seeking it out, because at any given day or month or week or year, those scales are going to tip. And we are striving to pull from different resources and how to learn, understand, and expand so we're not staying stuck. So you have gifts, Libra. Your gifts are shining through at this time. And a lot of you are here to teach, to coach, to mentor, to help others, because you are a light worker. That's the message I'm getting. You are a light worker. And there's something here about your confidence returning after a period of either weakened security or perhaps instability that has occurred here. This is a celebration. This is a gift from the universe here, but it's also about you recognizing that you hold very beautiful gifts that the world needs, not to shy back, not to doubt your beautiful self. Next, you have choices. This also speaks of the scales, right? Balancing act here, making decisions and choices, which Libra gets the rap of being indecisive. Now, yes, sometimes we can be indecisive, but the way I see it is Libra likes to know their options before they make a choice, right? Before you make a choice, you want to weigh up all sides of it. And sometimes that can bother people because you may take a little bit more time because you want to make sure that you're making the best choice for yourself or for those around you. And so I do see you weighing up some options here this month, but also ultimately you're going to choose the path that aligns with your inner knowing. That's why earlier I mentioned intuition versus fear, because I feel like you're choosing the path that aligns more so with the light versus the shadow, which you can see here. This is about free will. It's about alternatives here and knowing that you have options. And it's also about feeling like you're between worlds, and you actually have the word balance there on the card. So Libra, you are creating harmony and joy through self-discipline, through confidence, because your chakra that is standing out for the month is the solar plexus chakra, which is located in our belly region. This is the seat of our ego, of our confidence. It's also representing the sun, right? The sun energy. And some of you may benefit from getting outside or being in the sun. It says here, my self-discipline and willpower will significantly help me in my efforts to move forward and grow. I am free of the need for the approval of others. I face each challenge with determination and courage, and I am determined to live my life to its fullest potential. I am strong and capable. My actions speak louder than my words. This tells me that not only are you talking the talk and walking the walk, but this is you staying consistent. And I feel like consistency is what speaks the loudest. And you are continually actioning up those words. So all of those energies are in alignment. And because I see here the Hierophant with the Lovers at the bottom of the deck, the Hierophant tells me that you've done a lot of work on breaking through belief systems, conditioning, and old stories that you have been taught growing up. Maybe from society, from your family, your caregivers, or even the world around you, or even old relationships that you've been in. You've been reparenting yourself. And I feel like you've been going within and calming, finding that calming space, that inner security system, and finding ways to find peace when, again, it feels like there's chaos in your outer world. And maybe even the cues, the signals that your body is giving you, you're paying attention to, whether it's the clenching of a jaw, perhaps it's a tightness in a chest. It can be constriction in your throat chakra. It can be a buzzing or a humming in your ears. Paying attention to these subtle cues, because these cues are giving signals to your brain that perhaps there's danger or you're not safe. And it could cause the nervous system to go into that fight or flight response. And some of you are learning about the body. You're learning about your spiritual gifts here. You may have or are calling in a wise teacher, someone that you follow, someone that you're learning from. This could be online. Perhaps it's here on YouTube. You could be reading a very empowering book that helps you in ways that you never expected possible. And I feel like you're gaining wisdom and you're keeping it, right? The wisdom keeper says this is something you are going to keep with you for the rest of your life. This isn't something you're just going to a workshop or you're just seeing online and it's in one ear, out the other, and you don't think about it again. This is something that you are consciously choosing here to participate in. You're consciously choosing to break any patterns that have caused the cracks here in the foundation of your own stability. And it starts within, Libra. Let's dive into the tarot here. You have the King of Cups, the Dream Weaver. The King of Cups is beautiful. Now, some of you are embracing the archetype here of this king. This is someone who is very loving, very supportive, very emotionally intelligent and patient and kind. Now, this king is building emotional trust and bonds within himself before he can offer that to another. He must learn his own heart. He must get honest with himself because he's such a lover. Now, sometimes when he is allowing other energies externally to to kind of take over, he can become a people pleaser. He can drain his own cup at times, and he can even be indulgent to the point where he's not in touch with his own emotions. But I have a feeling this is what you've been working on, is either attracting this sense of emotional maturity into your own understanding, into your own life, being able to learn about your emotions instead of avoiding them, numbing them, or escaping from them. It feels like this is something that's powerful, and you may be feeling a bit more emotionally charged than normal. But I see here that many of you are also attracting someone into your world who does have this emotional intelligence that you have been seeking. And that's also part of what you are committing your next chapter to, is the power of love. Right? The power of love, not the love of power, but the power of love, which also came through in Virgo's reading. So some of you could be Virgo cuspers, or it's this Virgo season is very highlighted for you, Libra. Now we have the King of Swords, double King energy here. Now the King of Swords is an air element here, the king of communication. And how interesting, I just said the power of love versus the love of power. There's a balance act coming through here where maybe you felt like you were out of your element, or you were not in control of a situation. And that's why you are looking within. That's that self-discipline piece. And I see that you are free of the need for the approval of others. That's what the solar plexus was reminding you. Perhaps some of you had equated your own self-worth to what others may have thought of you. And you may have even put on people pleasing, right? That can be one of Libra's shadow aspects, is people pleasing to the point where you get lost in a cycle here of taking care of and nurturing others, where you may neglect your own self. And that can be a thought or a conditioning which we rule or let rule over us into adulthood. And I feel like you are reclaiming your heart. There's a part of your heart, there's a part of that soul essence that is coming together here for you. Now, the King of Swords is very intelligent. He's very logical. He is someone who is very knowledgeable, and he is willing to share what he has learned. And I feel many of you are either connecting to this King of Swords. I feel like many of you, this is your energy of taking action. It doesn't matter if you're female or male, but this is the masculine principle of action, of movement, where you're going to make a conscious choice here to let love, let the heart lead you moving forward, meaning that the relationships, partnerships, connections that you have, you're choosing to expand the heart. You're letting the people around you know that you love them, that you care for them, but you also are letting yourself know that you love and care for you by setting good, healthy boundaries, by taking care of your health, and by choosing to lean into the power of love. So this is beautiful. Now, of course, there could be two kings in your life here because you have choices. Perhaps this is, working for this company or working for that company. It can be choosing between this partnership or that partnership. And I see here that you're trying something that you haven't done before. I feel like you're leaning into going in a direction that's not based on the fear, right? That's the choice. That's the intuition versus fear here. And you're moving into a dream here, a dream that you've wanted for yourself. And if you look at the animals that are on the King of Cups, you see that there's a child that is laying on his heart chakra, on his chest area, which some of you could be parents, or you may be nurturers or caregivers in your profession. But you see here the beautiful lamb, you see the parrot, you see the black cat, as well as the frog that is looking him in the face and saying, all right, let's take this leap of faith. Like it's okay to open up our hearts and be vulnerable and allow love in all forms. Some of you may be strong animal lovers as well, or you may be even connecting to the shamanism practices such as, animal totems. You may be dreaming of animals or seeing animals in the great outdoors. Because animals is showing up here, I'm actually going to pull an animal card and just see what animal has for you. Whoa, okay, you have these two that just, or three actually, that just flew out of the deck there. You have cow spirit. The miracles are endless. Spirit wants you to know, or your animal spirit wants you to know, that the miracles are endless. Pay attention. Some of you may even live near a dairy farm, or perhaps cows are showing up in your dreams, but cows are very resourceful. They're very, very abundant. And you have the cat spirit. Claim your independence. Now you have the cat showing up twice. Some of you may have cats. You may have this strong connection to the feline energy. I know I do. I love cats. I don't have any my own, but this is a beautiful orange cat. Some of you could have an orange tabby or even a black cat. Claiming your own independence here. And then lastly, the whale spirit says, trust in the great mystery of life, right? We are being guided to trust, and perhaps trust has been severed or it's been challenged for you in some way, Libra, but I feel like you're consciously choosing here to be vulnerable, to open up instead of letting the rigidity here of the past control you and take your power. You are stepping into this new cycle and you're allowing yourself to stand strong, stand disciplined here by blending the best traits of both of these kings together and calling them into your life. Now you have the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is rest and relaxation. You may be guided to slow down a bit. Now, September can be a very busy month as we transition into the autumn equinox and things start to maybe pick up pace here from the summer vibes, at least here in the northern hemisphere. Those of you in the southern hemisphere moving into spring, but I see that you are guided to transform your energy to working smarter, not harder. There may be a belief that you have, because the King of Swords is about our belief systems as well, or the king of the mind. And I feel like you're shifting gears. You're saying, wait a second, I don't have to push through with force. I can show up and push through with compassion. There's a difference here between constantly hustling to the point where you may feel like you're bending backwards, breaking your body or your spirit at times, and then being compassionate with yourself here and allowing yourself the time to rest, to slow down, to check in, and to ask your body what it needs. So try not to let the mind, again, take over and take you down a rabbit hole, because you are being healed here on all different levels. And some of you are working with a healer. You are the healer, and you are taking the necessary time out instead of grinding to the point where you are burnt out or exhausted or hurting your body in some way. You could even be traveling or resting the mind through meditation, as I've mentioned, breath work, yoga, or any practices that bring you to that inner calm, that inner peace, that inner sense of safety and security. Good job, Libra. All right, what do we have over here? We have the Four of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands. Okay, so the Eight of Wands is our self-confidence. It's our self-discipline. It's communication. And because it's showing up here in reverse, I feel like your confidence is starting to return after a period of needing to realign. Some of you may have relocated physically. Perhaps you've moved, or you've been consuming yourself in your communication, or how to communicate, or worrying about if someone is going to communicate with you, or worrying about when you're going to get that call. I'm getting the throat chakra highlighted because the Eight of Wands is the energy here of communication. And because you see on the Four of Pentacles, it says consuming. And you see the throat chakra with the world in it. Some of you were so consumed in what the world thought, or worldly expectations, or gaining confidence through what other people had expected. It can be expectations of others where it left you feeling burnt out. It left you feeling exhausted, and it left you feeling incomplete in a way where when you go within, and that's what I see, I said that in the very beginning, when you go within and you realize that you are able to self-soothe internally, that external soothing, that little bit in peace that you were getting from it, that is nothing compared to being able to self-soothe yourself by truly sitting with your emotions, your feelings, your fears, facing them, and giving a challenge a look in the eye and saying, all right, I got this. And that's what you're doing here. You're not letting something consume you to the point of crippling you or even causing analysis paralysis with the choices. Some of you may have had some issues with your ears. I'm getting like ear popping or even like ringing of ears. Some of you, maybe you've had sinus issues lately. I am getting nose as well, like the ears, the nose, the throat. Maybe some of you have seen like an ENT doctor. Regarding health and well-being, your body, your nervous system may have been calling out to you through signs that your body was trying to tell you. Like I mentioned, a constriction of the throat, or fidgeting here, or picking at fingernails, or whatever it may be. It feels like you are recognizing that, because what the physiological signs do is signal, like I mentioned, to the brain that something is wrong, that there's danger, or that you have to prepare for disruption, prepare for a war. And that's that fight or flight that goes into that mode of I got to fight, I got to prepare for this, or I have to run from it, or I have to please others. And I see that you are recognizing some of these patterns here, Libra. And by recognizing them, you're bringing them to your awareness and you're choosing to do something differently. Now you have the Six of Swords, which I love because it's departure. It is about you saying, okay, I've learned through the battle. I've learned through that Five of Swords, which can be, Five of Swords can be taking advantage. People have taken advantage of you, or it can be anger. It can be learning from your own anger. No, so often we feel like anger is an emotion that we don't want. We try to not be angered. But anger can actually fuel us. It can motivate us when we use our feelings to transmute our worlds. I mean, that's what feelings are for. We're not meant to stay in a feeling forever. We're meant to learn and take cues from those feelings. And that's what I see you doing, is you're transmuting some sort of emotion that you've had regarding an experience or a situation, and you're departing, meaning you've gained the wisdom from it, and now you get to let something fuel you into being the best version of yourself. And the Six of Swords is the quest for something deeper, because you are moving on from a situation that has really left you in a space. In the past, it's left you feeling like you were in a battle of the ego, right? Either with yourself or with someone else. And it may have caused anger, bitterness, resentment. It caused you to even feel maybe physical pain here, or mental blocks, but you've moved out of it here. And I see that you are literally, some of you are departing. You could be traveling. There could be a weekend getaway, or perhaps you are realizing that as you near your solar return, this next trip around the sun for you is about living in a way where your nervous system is in a state of rest and digest. That's the Four of Swords, where you don't have to be walking on pins and needles. You don't have to be constantly looking over your shoulder or be going 1,000,000 miles per minute, right? You're able to enjoy life's simplicities. You're able to relax. You're able to call in energies of others that vibrate and mirror what you are putting out there. And maybe that's taken a long time for you to feel this sense of harmonized energy. And if and when, well, it's not even an if, it's a when, troubles and challenges show up down the road, Libra, you are equipped with the emotional capacity, maturity, wisdom, and tools to be able to navigate through things in a healthy way, to not let those emotions override the situation to the point where you may behave or react in ways that scare you or another, or you may look back and say, I wish I would have been more level-headed. It feels like you have the tools that you need to be able to come to that calm space within before you make choices and decisions. All right, so with the Hierophant at the bottom of the deck, as I've mentioned, some of you are reevaluating your belief system and you're saying, is this still true for me? Is this a lie? Is this helping me? Is this hindering me? And you are seeking the path of enlightenment. Now let's look at health again one more time. Some of you may have had some jaw issues. I just mentioned the ears, but I'm getting also the jaw, maybe dental procedures or teeth issues. I'm also getting here joint pain. Because the feet are also highlighted, this would be a really great month, Libra, to take care of those piggly wigglies, right? Get a pedicure if you can. Get out in nature. Put your bare feet in the grass. This is about maybe even getting a good foot massage here. It is also about you taking care of your lower extremities, especially if you've had some form of ankle surgery or knee surgery or something within the lower body, the lower portion of your body. I feel like it's important to get that lymphatic system moving again, okay? There's something with stagnancy in the lower extremities, but I see that you're also able to rest and still feel like you're flowing instead of feeling stuck or restricted. I'm also getting pins and needles. Some of you may have felt like a certain area of your body was on pins and needles, but of course, please seek medical guidance if need be. All right, let's look at finances, career, money, wealth, abundance. We have setbacks. So this tells me that yes, you have endured setbacks. That's partially what you're mending here when it comes to your career or finances. Taking one step forward to take two steps back, Libra. How frustrating. I've been there. And this is about the setbacks telling you that there's still work to do, or could be telling you to stop forging your way forward when you are meant to go take an alternative route, take an alternative path, even if that means slowing down, pausing, giving yourself a mental day off or a time out, and allowing yourself to reconfigure. Sometimes we do the same things over and over again, expecting different results. You know what they say about that, Libra. This is the month where you're saying to yourself, wait a second, I now understand what I've been doing. I haven't allowed myself to expand. There's that intuitive awareness, expansion. And once you recognize it, boom, you let go of whatever has been holding you back. So you are able to move forward. And there you have here the tree. This is financial growth. Things are coming to fruition here for you. And what beautiful time this correlates with harvest season. So this could be outdoorsy energy here. Some of you may have an outdoors job or you're spending time outdoors, and that could be when your most brilliant creative ideas come through. This could even be a family business that you have. It's stability. And it's because you have created that inner stability within you through your own practices, and you're starting to see that align with your outer world. And I also see here 10 of Pentacles. This is my 10 of Pentacles energy, and this is legacy. This is longevity. This is you branching off. You can see that there's a flower that's branched off here. You may be branching off here from some sort of traditional path with that Hierophant, and you may be going off on your own and doing something that feels more individualized, that feels more unique to you, because you have a gift here. So what this means is, even if there are 100 million people that are doing what you do, you may be doing it in a way that stands apart, that helps you stand apart from the rest, because you have your own unique touch that you are bringing to the table. Now, of course, some of you could be branching off in your business. You may have some new ideas, some new income sources. Some of you, there's multiple income sources coming through here for you, or that is something that you are wanting to generate. And lastly, you have the rose. The rose, Libra, is about financial relief, being content. Yes, this is also about job security. And I feel like you're growing here. You're growing, you're expanding, you're seeing the flow of abundance show up more and more for you, which is beautiful. And I also feel with that King of Cups, you are someone who is a caregiver, where you're here to help others because your role supports many. But I also feel like you are being supported in return. And you see the loving care here. It feels like you are loving what it is that you are doing. The spiritual gifts that are connected to this tells me that there's a lot of growth in your job sector. Whatever it is that you are leaning into, or whatever it is that you've been growing or building with that Ten of Pentacles energy, the tree, I feel like you have the flow going now. After a period of feeling restricted or fears settling in here, yeah, you have the ability to expand. So I like that for you. Six of Swords, you're moving out of troubled waters with career, with finances. You're leveling up. There's discipline, but there's heart. So what I love to see is this is the head and the heart connecting. And when the head and the heart are on the same page, that's where miracles happen, Libra. And I see that you're working smarter, not harder, and you're not consumed here by some sort of lack of self-confidence that was holding you back, or it felt like you were bonded to it. It was consuming you in some way. Four of Pentacles can be, craving that stability or staying in a comfort zone because we are so fixated on keeping that comfort, which could be a false illusion, or it could be that there's change where the universe is saying, Libra, you've grown. It's time to level up here. Let's work smarter, not harder, but perhaps we make it more difficult than it has to be. And I see that there's a beautiful opportunity coming in for you. And this really has you leveling up here in the playing field. So there's support coming through. All right, let's look at love, Libra. You have here separation. So some of you are separating yourself or letting go from energies that have cut you. All right, that have cut you. You see here that there's a lot of cacti there on the card. And the beautiful thing is all of the cactus are blooming. And you see the flowers on each and every one of them. So this tells me that even through every thorny relationship, every partnership that you have had, there's been lessons, because I'm a firm believer, being a Libra myself, that relationships are our biggest mirrors, our biggest growth opportunities. And you're realizing that now, even through the bitterness, the sadness, even through the uncertainty. I feel like you may still have pings of nostalgia. Someone could be missing you. You could be missing someone who may no longer be here in the flesh, in the physical. You may have a loved one who's crossed over and they're on your mind from time to time, but I feel like you are connecting with them. This is about the sword and the rose. Now, how interesting. The sword and the rose reminds me of the King of Swords and the King of Cups, right? The King of Love. So this is clarity and truth. There are major revelations coming through here for you, Libra, and I feel like you are determined. There's the determination. Yeah, your self-discipline and determination are saying, I'm going to open up. I'm going to open that beautiful heart of mine because I am love. I am emitting love. And even if I've been hurt or, thorned in the past, I am still going to grow and learn through these relationships, but I'm not the same Libra I was in the past. And I see that you have the ability to see the faults within oneself. You are taking accountability for those shadow aspects or the parts of you that were just trying to protect you. And I see that you're determined here to move forward in relationships, fully showing up unapologetically yourself. That's big, Libra. Now, some of you are married. Okay, we have the wedding rings here. Some of you, there is this energy of, instead of butting heads, because when we have two masculines here, when we have two energies that are moving more from the masculine space instead of allowing the dance of masculinity and femininity, it doesn't matter of sex, right? We all have that balance within us. And I see here that may have caused miscommunication between two individuals. But this month, I feel like there's a choice to harmonize and to let go of how one has handled past arguments or situations. You have the ability to mend and to heal. And for those of you that have or are in a union or a soul connection, and you know that this is your partner, you know that this is a person that you want to be with, you can get through anything here. You can move forward and move towards a higher ground. Now, some of you may be wanting to part ways because we have letting go. And it could be that you are ready to put a relationship to rest. You have learned all that you have. Something has consumed you and stripped away your confidence, but you're ready to depart. And there's no shame in that. Although you may be grieving parts of that old version of who you were in the relationship, but I see that you are honoring yourself and the other person by making healthier choices. And if you're single, Libra, I'm just going to point this out there for those of you single Libras, I feel like you are letting go of expectations and letting go of feeling like your external happiness lies within another. You are living your best life here. You are focusing on doing things that fill your cup, and you are staying on top of things, but it feels like you are creating harmony and balance, and that's going to be the segue for inviting love into your life. But until then, you're going to live your best life. If someone comes in, they've got to match your energy, Libra, and that's what you are telling me here. So lastly, let's look into your archetype. We have Anima Mundi or Anima Mundi. So let me find this in the guidebook for you. All right, Libra, this is the soul, the soul of the world, all that is. I'm not too familiar with this card. It was actually the last one. So the very last page. So you're turning a new chapter here. Some of you are closing the complete story because you finished the story. You're ready to embark upon a new journey here. Anima Mundi epitomizes the principle, accept all, reject none. Simply put, it is the living soul of the world in all of its multifaceted, multidimensional layers, bonded together by loving cosmic forces. Diversity is celebrated, multiplicity is honored, and nothing is denied embrace. Constructs of separation dissipate into the wonderful mess of the shared consciousness. Anima Mundi is the link between the literal and the imaginal, the rational and the mythic. It is the connective fiber that makes life meaningful. This card indicates an initiation on the level of the soul. You will awaken the unique light within and witness how this light contributes to the radiance of the entire universe. You will sense yourself as a critical note in the cosmic orchestra. Destiny is altered as you hear the enchanted melody of all living things. Wow. That is powerful. I'm actually being shown here on the card all of the symbols, all of the signs, all of the colors. Libra, you stand for oneness. It reminds me of Bob Marley's song, One Love. And it feels like you are connecting to all that is. When this is showing up as the light aspect, it's tending to the sacred details of life. When it's showing up as the shadow, it can be overwhelmed by the bigness of existence. The embrace of Anima Mundi is available anytime, anywhere, to anyone, day or night, rich or poor. It is a process of unveiling our resistance to its love. Now, Anima Mundi is the energy behind the World card in the tarot deck. I love that for you. Didn't we mention the World coming through? Yeah, well, there's the World right here. There's the World on the Four of Pentacles being consumed in the mouths. So both carry themes of universal unity, completeness, and embrace. Some of you, part of your mission is to show up in the world in a way that feels very real, very raw, by sharing perhaps your own experiences in some way, by being able to help others, help consciousness, help raise the consciousness of planet Earth. And I see that you have come so far on your journey, and there's this deeper understanding that you have here. The world is completions, Libra, graduation. It can even be, getting married. It can be global travel. It can be freedom, enlightenment. I mean, it is that you've been on this journey for quite some time, and now you are embracing the world as your oyster. This is a very victorious oneness that is showing up here. If you want to go deeper into Anima Mundi, check out the alchemical drawings of Anima Mundi, the life and paintings of Hilma of Klint. Hilma of Klint. So drawings and paintings. Libra, that is what I have for your September 2025 monthly reading. I hope this resonates with you all. If it does, please hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you haven't already. And of course, if you are interested in a personal reading or signing up for the monthly newsletter, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. Lots of love, Libra, and happy birthday to those of you sun sign Librans.